Part 1 of 4. Let's tell ourselves the truth. In an unjust society, silence is a crime. Why is history banned or prohibited in Nigeria educational curriculum? Is history evil, yet great men and women spend millions of dollars and travel thousands of miles to study history to the highest level? Why the continuous push to exterminate or reduce the Igbos in Nigeria? Why the unending jihad especially, in the north and middle belt of Nigeria? Who initiated this notorious ideology? Who brought jihad to us, and why? Do we need to study and understand the Fulani? Is it a crime to ask fundamental questions and research for the true history of Nigeria? Obviously, there is something they are trying so hard to hide from us. This is very fundamental and therefore a serious threat to our development as a nation. Nigeria's situation especially, the divides among the youthful population took me to one of the quotes of Elon Musk. He said, "Teach a people to hate themselves and their history and they are defenseless against mind viruses. They can be reprogrammed with ease." My curiosity is overwhelming. A certain name shows up from all angles in my research, Usman Danfodio. Who was or is he, his background and legacy? Boom, we have arrived. Usman Danfodio belongs to the generation of wandering scholars who started settling in Hausaland since the 1300-1400s. They were Tarankawa who migrated from Futa Turo. The Tarankawa, also called Toradbi, Turadia, Banu Toro, Takrar, were Muslim Tukulur clerics and theocratic monarchs who preached and reigned in Futa Toro, a region located in the north of present-day Senegal, and other Fula communities in West Africa from at least the 17th to the early 20th century. Drawn from all ethnicities and levels of society, the Toradbi aimed to purify in quote, the Islam practiced in West Africa and establish Islamic states run with Islamic law. The Tarankawa first settled in a village called Kani on the borders of Bornu Empire and Songhai Empire, till persecution drove them to Maratha under the leadership of Muhammad Sa'ad, Danfodio's great-grandfather. A faction of them split and moved to Koloba. It was in Maratha that Usman Danfodio was born on December 15, 1754. A further move by the Sheikh's father, Muhammad bin Fodio, after 1754 brought them from Maratha to Dijil, but several of their relatives still stayed in the town of Kani. Other Tarankawa, such as Jadado's family, moved to Kebbi. While Usman was young, he and his family shifted to Dijil where he studied the Quran. He joined Jibril bin Umar. Ibn Umar was a powerful intellectual and religious leader at the time, who was a staunch proponent of jihad. At age 20, Usman Danfodio set up his school in Dijil. By 1787 Danfodio was writing a number of books in Arabic and composing long poems in Fulfulde. He began his itinerant preaching as a Maulam in 1774 and continued preaching for 12 years in Gobir and Kebbi, followed by further 5 years in Zamfara. His preaching tours took him from to Faru. After his return from Faru, he continued to tour going beyond Kebbi as far as Ilo across the Niger River, and in the south traveling to Zugu beyond the Zamfara River Valley. Usman Danfodio broke from the royal court and used his influence to secure approval for creating a religious community in his hometown of Dijil that would, he hoped, be a model town. He stayed there for 20 years, writing, teaching and preaching. As in other Islamic societies, the autonomy of Muslim communities under ulama leadership made it possible to resist the state and the state version of Islam in the name of Sharia and the ideal caliphate. In 1780, the 1790s, Usman Danfodio's reputation increased as he appealed to justice and morality and rallied the outcasts of Hausa society. The Hausa peasants, slaves and preachers supported Usman, as well as the Tuareg, Fulbe and Fulani pastoralists who are overtaxed and their cattle seized by powerful government officials. These pastoralist communities were led by the clerics living in rural communities who were Fulfulde speakers and closely connected to the pastoralists. Many of Usman Danfodio's followers later hold the most important offices of the new states. His jihad served to integrate several peoples into a single religious political movement. The Sultan responded violently to Danfodio's Islamic community. Some members of the Jama'ah were imprisoned. In the Usman Danfodio's book, Tanbi al-Ikhwan, we get his brother's account of why the jihad began. This was narrated by Abdullah at the insistence of the Usman Danfodio himself. The king of Gobir then started provoking some of the sheikh's followers and terrorized them. He dispatched a campaign against them, and in a particular instance, his troops captured some of our men, including their wives and children, and started selling them as slaves before our eyes. We were even threatened that the same fate might befall us ourselves. This is Part 1, see Part 2.